We got another call from our listeners. You're on the Real News.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. This is Bill Anderson with the Citizens Forum.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know whether you caught it or not, but about a week or so ago on Fox News, some commentator got the information from Exxon. They said that in the last quarter, they had the highest profit that they'd ever had in the history of their company. And, of course, in the Congress, as you well know, back early in the spring, that they called in these oil executives because of the high gas prices. And our good friends in Washington, the Congress and the Senate, they interviewed these people, accused them of stealing from the American population at the gas tanks, reprimanded them for it, turned them loose, and done absolutely nothing to remedy the situation. I predict that it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
What did you think about gas spiking 50 cents yesterday, gas that's already in the tanks, and panic ensued on the public about nothing?
Well, it's a ripoff. It is a total ripoff so that the gas refineries, and don't blame Saudi Arabia for this, the gas refineries are the ones that has caused this. It is a total ripoff out of the pockets of the American citizens, and they're going to do it, and they're going to totally get by with it. And you're right. I just heard what you said, and I'm 79 years old, and I bought gas, as the other man said, for 13 cents a gallon. And the storms back then, we had them, it didn't cause gas to go up. Not at all, not even a cent.
Well,
it's a total ripoff.
It is, and we're here to let the people know we should band together, if nothing else, just here in Statesville, Davie County, and not accept this, not be a mere puppet to the whims of the manipulators when they tell us, like a herd of cattle, to run down and have to buy gas because they're ensuing a panic, and it's just unbelievable. Is there anything else you'd like to add today?
The only thing I'm going to say is that my car and my truck in protest is going to sit in my garage. I will only crank that motor when I absolutely have to go somewhere. That's the only way I've got that I can show that I don't like it, and to do what I can to eliminate it. Yeah, if the people would park their cars and quit buying gas, they'd come down. They ain't going to lose that money.
Bill Anderson is staging a one-man protest. How many people will call in and join him today? I'm with you. All right, thank you very much, sir, and feel free to call back anytime. And again, on the Fannie Mae Freddie Mac bailout, Mr. Paulson noted that more than $5 trillion of debt and mortgage-backed securities issued by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac is owned by central banks and other investors worldwide. Failure to either of them would cause great turmoil in our financial markets here at home and around the globe. So that's why they're saying that they bailed them out. Well, I want to report on this monumental event. Once again, Main Street bailed out Wall Street. That's why the stock market soared 200 points because of the news. Now the American people are on the hook for this responsibility. Unbelievable. To all those who suggested that me and Brian were painting too grim a picture of our current economic situation, let me reiterate, the government, and when it comes to bailouts, the government then really is you and me, has had to take control of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and this institution holds the mortgages on over half of the homes in America. But as long as we sit back and watch the wholesale destruction of any facsimile of a true representative government with actual common sense and competence, we, the middle class, will continue to be forced to pay for the mistakes of big banks, corporations, and investors while we, the middle class, struggle more and more to make ends meet. I stand before you a saddened American because I see our system is in need of drastic change, but I also see a hopelessly dysfunctional government and a society without the backbone to demand real change from the top down and from the bottom up. I, for one, am not sure why I should have to pay for this. These loans, much of which was made by the private sector, are now the burden of you and me. The banks have been bailed out, not the homeowner. Let's all keep that in mind. And we're going to go to a break now, and we'd like to come back with more of your phone calls. If you'd like to call in, 704-873-1400, 336-499-0681, and we're here on WSIC 1400, WDSL 1520. All right, we're back on the Real News, and I'd also like to comment on this Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac bailout. Virginia Fox co-sponsors legislation to ban Freddie and Fannie from golden parachutes. Washington, D.C., Congresswoman Virginia Fox has co-sponsored legislation, H.R. 6468, to stop executives at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac from receiving extravagant golden parachute severance packages. Executives ousted in the wake of the federal government takeover of the two organizations could take home more than $14 million and $9 million, respectively, in severance packages, according to the media reports. But I'm quoting Virginia Fox: Don't we pay CEOs for successfully managing companies, not running them into the ground? Republican Fox said taxpayers are already on the hook for bailing out these massive lenders. They should not be forced to bail out fat cat executives who are receiving outrageous payoffs for their failed leadership. And I wanted to commend her on that and report that here today to the public.
There's also many small banks that actually depend on the preferred shares of Fannie and Freddie on their dividends for a source of reliable income. This is going to have a major impact on small banks. Also, this past Thursday, September 11th, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi mentioned the possibility of another rescue package, this one for the beleaguered investment bank Lehman Brothers.
Yeah, they're in the news now. It might be the next bailout. It maybe it's just going to continue, and I don't have it in front of me right now, but the 11th largest bank in the nation, they reported, was in serious problems. So we maybe are just going to continue to see this. And once again, the American people are on the hook for it. It's outrageous. We should be crying foul.
And the government doesn't seem to have a problem bailing out these huge, monstrous corporations, yet our nation's heroes, our first responders, are sick and dying, can't put food on their tables. It's just disgusting.
And again, when they're bailing out these huge corporations, they're not bailing out the homeowner that's having problems making I mean, it'd be one thing if the tax money was at least bailing them out, but we're bailing out these financial institutions, and it'll be just like the Iraq War. They'll tell us it's going to be this amount, but in the end it'll be 10 times or 20 times that. We've seen it time again. Also, we'd been covering what had been happening between Russia and the United States, and how the media tried to boldface lie to us about the attack in South Ossetia, and now they've had to admit that they were completely misleading the American people, and we're going to go into a little report on that. But we've got another phone call from our listeners. Hey, are you with me today?
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, Baron. How are you doing today?
Hey, great. How you doing today, sir?
This is one of your fans, Dave.
All right. Glad to have you with us today.
Well, this past week, Donald Trump, who is considered by many to be about the top-notch businessman in the free world, made the statement that we're headed toward a depression that's going to be worse than the one in the late 1920s.
Wow.
That's the statement that he made. That should carry some gravity. Also, it occurred to me that all the donations that I make have one thing in common. On an annual basis, I donate to the Disabled American Veterans. I donate to Free Speech TV, Alex Jones. I donated to Ron Paul's campaign. I donate to AARP. They all have one thing in common. They're either defending us from the government or they're making up deficiencies for the government. That's what these contributions all have in common.